Fundamental duties in the Indian Constitution. Initially, the Indian Constitution did not have provisions of fundamental duties. The 42nd Constitutional Amendment in 1976 added new section to the article on fundamental duties. Article 51A contained in Part 4A of the Constitution deals with fundamental duties. These duties enjoin upon a citizen, among other things, to follow noble ideas which inspired India's struggle for freedom. At present, 11 fundamental duties are mentioned in the Constitution. Originally 10 in number, the fundamental duties were increased to 11 by 86th Constitutional Amendment in 2002, which added a duty of every parent or guardian to ensure that their child or ward provided opportunities for education between the age of 6 to 14 years. Saran Singh Committee and its report. Sardar Saran Singh Committee was set up in 1976 to make recommendations about fundamental duties, the need and necessity of which was felt during the operation of internal emergency 1976 to 1977. The committee recommended the inclusion of a separate chapter on fundamental duties in the Constitution. It suggested inclusion of 8 fundamental duties in the Constitution, but by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment, 10 fundamental duties were added in the Constitution. Fundamental duties of Indian citizens. According to Article 51A, every Indian citizen has following duties. 1. To abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions, the national flag and the national anthem. 2. To cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. 3. To uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India. 4. To defend the country even at the cost of our life. 5. To promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, transcending religious, linguistic, and regional or sectional diversities, to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. 6. To value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. 7. To protect and improve the natural environment, including forests, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, and to have a compassion for living creatures. 8. To develop the scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. 9. To safeguard public property and to abjure violence. 10. To strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. 11. To provide opportunities for education to children between 6 to 14 years of age, and duty as parents to ensure that such opportunities are being awarded to their child. Salient features of the fundamental duties. Fundamental duties have following salient features. Fundamental duties are both civic and moral in nature. They emphasize the Indian way of life, especially respecting and preserving Indian culture. This provision is not applicable upon the foreigners. Only citizens of India will obey these constitutional duties. There are clear difference between fundamental rights and fundamental duties. They are non-justiciable and non-enforceable. Non-justiciability of fundamental duties. The fundamental duties are non-enforceable and non-justiciable. There is no provision in the Constitution for direct enforcement of these duties. It means that no citizen can be punished by a court for violation of fundamental duties. In this regards, fundamental duties are like directive principles of state policy of Part 4. Fundamental duties were not placed at the end of Part 3 of Indian Constitution, which is justiciable, but included in Part 4A, that is non-justiciable and non-enforceable. India's case is different from some other examples regarding the enforceability of the fundamental duties. These examples included erstwhile USSR, Yugoslavia, and Albania. Unlike India, constitutions have these countries made duties legally enforceable. Significance of fundamental duties. Fundamental duties have ethical, social, and economic significance. If a citizen perhaps his her duties, she has moral claims on his her rights. Fulfillment of duties can help in the protection of environment and economic development. It serves as a constant reminder to the citizens while enjoying their rights. The citizens should be aware of their duties to their nation and towards their citizens. This serves as a warning to the people against the antisocial activities that disrespect the nation, like burning the flag, destroying public property, or disturbing public peace. This helps in promotion of sense of discipline and commitment towards the nation. They help in realizing national goals by active participation of citizens rather than more spectators. It helps the court in determining the constitutionality of the law. For instance, any law passed by the legislatures, when taken to court for constitutional validity of the law, if it is giving force to any fundamental duty, then such law would be taken as reasonable. They can be enforced by the law. The Parliament has the right to impose any type of penalty or punishment for violating any of the fundamental duties. Report of Verma Committee. Verma Committee 1999 identified the existence of following legal provisions: the Prevention of Insults to National Honor Act 1971. The various criminal laws provide for punishment to encouraging enmity and discrimination. The Indian Penal Code declares the imputations and assertions of prejudicial to national integration as punishable offences. The Wildlife Protection Act 1972 and Forest Conservation Act 1980 recommended reorienting approaches to school curriculum and teachers, educating programs, and professional education. National Commission to Review the Working of the Constitution NCRWC 2002 and Supreme Court on 2003 directed to implement recommendations of Justice Verma Committee. Need for fundamental duties. The fundamental duties serve as a constant reminder to every citizen while the Constitution specifically conferred on them certain fundamental rights. These duties promote a sense of discipline and commitment towards the society. The court can use fundamental duties for determining constitutionality of law. It also requires citizens to observe certain basic norms of democratic conduct and democratic behavior because rights and duties are correlated. Enforcement of fundamental duties. The fundamental duties not only guide the citizen but also guides the legislative and executive action of elected or non-elected institutions. The legal utility of fundamental duties and directive principles is the same. Fundamental duties are addressed to the citizens and there is no legal sanction in the case of their violation. The success of this provision will solely depend upon the manner and person against whom these duties would be enforced. If the duties are not known to all, then there would be not be proper enforcement of these duties. Thank you.